Good morning and welcome to the Donley Auctions Hour. I'm your host, Susan, and I hope you all had a wonderful Thanksgiving weekend filled with family, food, and maybe even a little bit of treasure hunting. I look forward to spending this Sunday morning with you on the one and only WLS AM 890. We are Donley Auctions, auctioneers of antiques, collectors of cool, and veterans of vintage. Every single week we connect passionate buyers with incredible finds from consigners all around the globe. Whether you are looking for military history, classic cars, rare coins, or vintage coin-op machines, we are always chasing history and bringing it right here to the auction block. And the best part, you don't even have to be here in Union, Illinois to win. You can bid live from anywhere on the planet. Our worldwide showroom is always open at DonleyAuctions.com. That is your spot to browse every catalog, listen to our unfiltered podcast, and see exactly what we're talking about today. Speaking of today, we have a packed hour. We are previewing 3 massive auctions coming up in December, including a vintage razor blade advertising display collection, a collector's dream auction featuring everything from popcorn machines to railroad relics, and our massive firearm and ammo auction on December 13th. Plus, later in the show today, you'll hear from Ryan and Ryan, who are back from the huge Rosemont Sports Show to tell us what's hot in the market and what you should be digging out of your basement right now. But first, what about your collection? Do you have treasures gathering dust that you're ready to turn into cash? From a single amazing piece to an entire estate, let our team get you the true value you deserve. We'll take that collection, and as we always say, we'll make it fit in your wallet. Let's start the conversation right now. Give us a call at 815-923-7000 or email us photos of anything we're talking about today to consign@DonleyAuctions.com. And of course, I'm joined in the studio today with Randy and Mike Donley. Good morning, gentlemen. How was your weekend?
Hey, good morning, Susan. The weekend was great. We had all kinds of fun and excitement with the auction going on and, of course, picking more stuff up.
I know you guys are going to be traveling quite a bit here in the next few weeks. Where are you off to?
That we are.
Yeah, we're going to Wabash, Indiana to pick up a big collection of music, band organs, coin-op, Petroliana. It's quite a collection, and we're going to be bringing it back to the gallery to start processing it for an auction later this spring.
That really is quite a collection, Mike. I mean, we've known this gentleman actually 40 years ago when he used to come to our antique phonograph show years and years ago. He collected bigger machines, band organs, nickelodeons, orchestrions, and that's really the focus of what we're going to be picking up.
I heard you guys have approximately 3, not 1, not 2, but 3 truckloads coming back this way.
Well, yeah, Susan, we're going to have 3 26-footers and multiple trailers.
Crazy.
I mean, this is quite a load. It's going to be an absolutely phenomenal auction because it's a phenomenal collection.
So does that mean you're going to be looking for more items to consign for this particular auction in the antique music category? Is that something we can start asking our consigners for?
Well, Susan, we're always looking for more of what we do. And, of course, those of you out there who know us know that we certainly specialize in antique automatic music machines. And I mean, we're talking about nickelodeons, antique phonographs, coin-operated jukeboxes, anything that made music back at the turn of the century, including some musical instruments. I mean, we're not known for musical instruments, but boy, when we've got good ones, like Mike, you picked up that, or consigned that collection of Gibson guitars. And tell everybody how those did.
It was a gentleman who walked in here. His father had passed away, and his father was a musician, and he really had no preconceived notion of what he even had. So he said, could you auction these guitars? Well, I started opening up cases, and it was
good stuff, huh?
Unbelievable, like opening up chests of gold. I mean, for guitar players, it definitely was, and they brought phenomenal money, and the man was just blown away because he never, these are the type of things that unfortunately sometimes end up in garage sales, and somebody that doesn't know will put $10 or $15 on a guitar that can easily fetch several $1,000s.
I just had a visual, and that is this. We're getting so close to the Christmas season right now that I do have to say, when people bring us items in boxes and cases, opening these boxes is very much like kids at Christmas time. I mean, when we open these boxes, some of the things that we find are so exciting.
I love doing that as well. I love pulling it out. I love looking at everything, get it organized and sorted, so that way you guys can take a look and get it described and put some value on it.
Yeah, it's fun every time we open up boxes. In fact, we've videoed us opening up boxes and put that online. There's a whole bunch of people out there, a whole group of people who like watching videos of people opening up boxes of stuff.
There is a whole website, or many of them, dedicated just to people opening.
We did one for that step ladder. Remember the step ladder for the
from the Berlin Wall?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
that we videotaped as an unboxing video. Do you remember that?
Yeah, and I think we did the same with the Lubin Studio items too. Just
Yes.
But explain
Yes.
the Berlin Wall ladder to our audience out there, because we're bringing it up. We know the story, but nobody out there knows it.
when the Berlin Wall came down, I don't know when that was, like 80, 84 or something like that.
The Berlin Wall came down November 9th, 1989.
89.
Oh, it was 89. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very close. Good job,
Thank you
Mike.
for that, Susan.
Yeah, well, I'm full of information, you know.
A gentleman happened to be visiting Germany that day, and he was by the wall and saw the commotion and went over there and saw what was happening and figured it was a historic time. So he paid a Russian guard, $100, which was a huge amount of money for him, to let him take down an iron ladder to one of the guard towers. And he had to ship. Back to the United States. He was actually working for the government overseas, so he had to ship back to the United States, and it laid in a warehouse for over 30 years.
It was boxed and crated, and there it laid.
And he's no longer in the country. I think he was living over like in Vietnam or somewhere like that. And he contacted us to go to the warehouse because he knew he'd never come back and get it.
And the warehouse was like out of that scene at the Raiders of the Lost Ark at the end of the movie where everything is just wooden crates laying in this big warehouse. And there laid the guard tower ladder.
Well, it was
the Berlin Wall.
It was in a big crate. Remember, he had a custom crate built, and so when we uncrated it, was the first time it had been opened since it was taken down.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah,
and
we love
you
the
were going to
unboxing
mention
and
another
stuff.
item.
The other thing we opened up was Lubin Studios photo albums that were shipped to us from a lady in Florida. That'll be coming up one of our movie memorabilia auctions.
And the Lubin Movie Studios, folks, was a competitor of Thomas Edison. Of course, Edison invented, so to speak, motion pictures. He's one of the first in the business, but Lubin was one of his first big competitors, right?
Sigmund Lubin in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, yes. He only lasted for a few years because, like I said, Edison ended up driving all of his competitors out of business.
Through lawsuits and everything else,
yeah. We will be featuring that collection coming up in the spring.
In the spring, so keep that in mind too. We are looking for some fabulous movie memorabilia items, everything from posters to projectors and everything in between. Definitely give us a call at 815-923-7000 or email us any photos you have and we'll let you know what the next steps are. Email is consign@donleyauctions.com.
And Susan, I just want to point out to everybody out there, if you hear some strange noises during our broadcast today, we've got
can they hear that?
construction like crazy going on. There's a jackhammer just making some noise. As we were talking a minute ago, we have no control over that, unfortunately. But a lot of construction going on at Donley Auctions today.
Yeah, because we're making room for all those big collections coming in.
We are.
So
That
let's keep it going.
So we're actually remodeling the Wild West town into more galleries for the Donley Auctions.
I have to say, it's sad to walk through there and see how it's changed.
Well, it's time.
It's time, I know.
It's a transition. Wild West Town was a very popular tourist attraction for 50 years in the Chicago area.
Had a good run, for sure.
We move on.
I know. So everything's getting cleared out and redone so we can bring in that big collection from Indiana. And then you guys are off to Franklin, Tennessee, that same week to the Civil War show.
That's the big Civil War show, yes, in Franklin, Tennessee. We'll be displaying some items for an upcoming auction. Actually, I think the John Banister items we're going to be displaying down there.
And that auction is February 7th.
Correct. And although it's World War II items, the Civil War show is not strictly Civil War items anymore down there. It is also from any war. So if you have any items, if you're in the Franklin area or the Nashville area down there and you have items you'd like to consign, we will be set up. Donley Auctions will have a booth there. Actually, right inside the main entrance. Just look for our big banner. So we'd like to consign your items, so bring them on out.
And anybody in the Chicago area, too, can consign to, as Susan will tell you in a minute. But I just want to remind everybody that military relics is hot right now. I mean, if you've got any military relics that are just kind of laying around in the closet, up in the attic, down in the basement, and you want to turn it into cash, the auction house is the way to go. If you don't auction your items, folks, you're just playing the best guessing game at what the prices are, because two items that can look just like one another can just be such a difference in price. You know, to give you an example, an average American World War II helmet, which they used to be everywhere at surplus stores and everything, an American helmet now, you used to be able to buy them for $5, $10 at every surplus store. Now, a good World War II American helmet probably starts at $200 and goes up to, ready? $25,000.
Applause.
And Susan, you know this because you, in fact, called me and you were at a flea market and you saw a helmet with an insignia on it. You called me and said, hey, they're asking a lot of money for this helmet, but should I buy it? And I think you paid, what, $400 for it?
Yeah, only $400, and I believe I got $2,500 for it.
A big profit. Yeah. And
Paid
that's
for a
because
slight-
somebody made the mistake of playing the best guessing game.
Right.
They thought $400 was all the money. And, of course, we sold it at auction for multiple times.
And that's what we have to keep reminding everybody is if you're selling it in a garage sale or with your neighbors or your friends or family, they're always trying to get the lower price. They're going to ask you for less.
Chisel you down, sure.
Chisel you down. Yeah, that's a good one. But at auction, the goal is to bring the prices up. And you're competing with other bidders. They're not bidding lower, they're bidding higher.
Right.
So
Susan,
an auction is the way to go, and you have to call us if you have anything to consign at donleyauctions.com or 815-923-7000.
So again, in military relics, we're looking for uniforms, we're looking for medals and insignia, looking for helmets, we're looking for daggers, any guns. We have a federal firearms license, so we can be your one-stop shop to sell all these items for you, if it's as early as Civil War or right on through the Vietnam War. All military relics have great value right now.
Our next firearms and ammunition auction, write this down, is Saturday, December 13th. It is firearms and tons of ammunition and some gun accessories. It is not too late to consign to that auction, but we are approaching the deadline soon. So again, if you have anything in the firearm arena, give us a call at 815-923-7000. I have specialists here who can tell you what you have, and they'll explain the next steps. It's very easy.
Since we're talking about firearms, Mike, why don't you talk about a few guns that we've got coming up in this auction?
Yeah, well, lot 1000 is a Thompson 1927 A1 semi-automatic machine gun. I don't want to call it a machine gun because it is semi-automatic, but it's modeled after the famous Thompson machine guns. Look just like it, only it's a semi-automatic, not a fully automatic.
Now, Mike, isn't that the type that the gangsters were known for using?
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, most of them you could have bought at a place called Klein Sporting Goods over on Lake Street in Chicago.
Oh, my goodness.
And you didn't need a license. You could walk in off the street and buy one. Because the gangsters used them a lot, they were nicknamed the Chicago Typewriter.
Chicago Typewriter.
I wonder what movies
Wow.
they were in. Do you know any off the top of your head?
What movies they were in? What movies weren't
they in?
What movies
I would
weren't
love
they
to
in?
see
Yeah.
it in action.
Well, Randy, you actually fired one out in Las Vegas, didn't you?
Well, yeah, Susan
We
took
did.
me to a range where you could literally rent any machine gun that you could imagine. And of course, I've always wanted to shoot a Thompson with the drum on it. What a experience that
It was the most expensive 2 minutes of our trip.
Or 1 minute.
1 minute. It was probably less than that.
That's
Yeah,
about
1
all
minute.
it took to go
Yeah.
through 100 rounds. Boom, boom,
It was
boom, boom, boom.
well worth it.
Went pretty quick, but
Game
boy,
over.
yes,
Yeah,
it
it was
was
fun.
worth it. It
That
definitely
was good.
was.
Another firearm we have coming up, again, this is our December 13th firearms and ammunition auction. It's on a Saturday, is lot number 1262. It's a Remington Hepburn No. 3. It isn't just an old deer rifle. It was designed by Lewis Hepburn, who is a world champion shooter. It's a single shot, falling block, the kind of gun that used to win international target matches in the 1880s. Collectors are going to go crazy for the Hepburn action because it's stronger and more accurate than almost anything else from that era. They were only made from about 1880 to 1907, and compared to Winchester lever actions, which were made in the millions, Hepburns were made in much smaller numbers. High condition survivors are rare. Check it out. Lot number 1262 in our December 13th auction.
What else you got there, Mike? Anything else of interest in this auction?
We got a nice Merwin and Hulbert revolver. These are really nice because they're known for their suction action. Their engineering tolerance was so tight it creates a vacuum. It's just an amazing pistol or a revolver. So.
Yeah, it's surprising the amount of nice, really good high-grade firearms we do have in this auction. And I'd like to back up for a minute because we were talking about machine guns a minute ago. And I want to let everybody know out there, along with our FFL, Federal Firearms License, we also have what's called a Class 3 dealer's license, which means that we are guys that can, in fact, legally sell machine guns. However, you have to be careful because they still have to be legal to start with. We can help you if you have war souvenirs, machine guns, anything. Just give us a call and we'll get you started in the right direction.
Yeah, and don't forget, too, we're looking for military vehicles. Any old Jeeps, trucks, ambulances, airplanes.
I saw a picture of a military Jeep. Where's that? Or is that something you guys are going to be able to get sometime in the future?
Yes, Susan. It's actually a 1943 Survivor. This is a Jeep that is in a barn just miles here from Donley Auctions. An old 1943 Jeep. A gentleman contacted us. He heard us talking about the big event where we went down the road here, and we're looking at a B-17 bomber in a barn right down the road, again, from Donley Auctions. Well, we talked about that on the radio. And he calls us and said, well, I don't have a bomber, he said, but I do have a 1943 Jeep, which is very important because it's war years. The Jeeps that everybody wants, the military Jeeps, are, of course, 1941 to 1945, that war period. But 42s and 43s seem to be the ones everybody's hunting for.
And they're pretty cool. I mean, when they get all fixed up and stuff, we've had several of them here before, and the guys will mount the propane machine guns on, the big 50 caliber propane machine guns and stuff. And they're
so cool.
They're a lot of fun.
For reenacting, you'd swear to God they're firing live rounds with the propane on them.
Mm-hmm.
So if you guys have any Jeeps, airplanes, cannons, tanks give us a call at 815-923-7000. We'll be happy to tell you what you can do with it.
And you know what, Susan? I'm especially reaching out to municipalities out there because so many municipalities have military vehicles that they don't know what to do with. They don't want them anymore. They don't want them in their park and everything. And everybody thinks when they see a military vehicle, they automatically think that it came from the United States government and it has to be returned to the government. What many people fail to realize is that years ago, these items were sold surplus. And a lot of people in a city or municipality, they would buy an old surplus vehicle, donate it to the city. So it always started as a private purchase. So these vehicles do not go back to the government. They're owned by the city or municipality, or they were gifted to the city, and they can be legally sold. And auction is the way to go.
One thing I did want to mention, because we've talked about it in our past radio show, it was our Native American and Wild West Town auction that we just held last weekend, wrapping that up. But we did have one great item that sold that you guys should probably mention, because we did talk about it in great length last week. I wonder if people would love to know what it sold for.
And what was that, Mike? The Passenger Pigeon, correct?
The extinct Passenger Pigeon. It was
very rare.
Yes, a taxidermy mount. It was a beauty, too.
We named him Percy.
So the last Passenger Pigeon was way back in like 1912? I think that's the year.
No, they went extinct in 1914, actually.
Oh, yeah. 1914. Okay.
Mm-hmm. And they were hunted into extinction, basically. I mean, the Midwest was millions and millions of them, and unfortunately, they became a good source of food. So there was hunters who just slaughtered them. They were using things called punt guns, which were basically large bore shotguns that could fell 20, 30 birds at a time.
Wow.
I didn't know that. Wow.
And they just decimated the population of them.
I'm sure they thought
I think it was September
they'd go on forever.
September of 1914. Martha, the last known passenger pigeon, died in captivity at the Cincinnati Zoo in Ohio. So,
Wow.
I'll be darned. So the
That's
one we
fun.
had at auction, it sold for $11,000
correct.
plus buyer premium. So that was a great sale on that. And the good news is it's going to the perfect home.
Here's an extinct bird that's been on display in a private collection for the last 40 years. This one gentleman who consigned it has had it in his home for 40 years.
I think it was over 40 years. The man's in his 80s, and he was given it as a little boy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
I didn't know that either. Well, look forward to hearing more about that. So we just wrapped up that auction last weekend. Coming up now, we've got 3 auctions in the month of December. Again, the purpose of our radio show is to inform all of you out there, if you have items to consign, please give us a call at 815-923-7000 or email us photos and tell us where you're located at consign@Donley, that's DONLEY, auctions.com. Consign@DonleyAuctions.com. Send us those photos. What we do is distribute them to our specialist. They take a look at what you have, and we will respond back to you with next steps, whether it can be picked up, dropped off, if it's good or if it's not good. We will definitely be honest and tell you what to do next. So coming up Thursday, December 4th, is an online-only auction. It's my razor blade advertising displays and barbershop memorabilia coming up. It's online only on December 4th.
Now, Susan, online only, how do people find it? Tell them exactly where to go to even look for this auction.
I will do that, because not only do we want consignments, we also would like you to bid out there. So if you would like to buy any of these items at auction, go to DonleyAuctions.com. That is our website. On there lists all of our upcoming auctions with a nice picture of what it looks like and a red button. Click on the red button and follow the instructions. It'll get you registered on our very own bidding platform. You provide all the general information, name, address, phone number, credit card number, and then it takes you to the catalog where you can see everything. Now, this auction is online only, so it will be going up December 4th. Check it out at DonleyAuctions.com. And, of course, if you have any questions, give us a call at 815-923-7000.
And how about after that, Susan? You've got more beyond that?
December's busy, is it not? December 4th. Okay, that's a Thursday. December 11th, the next week, is one of my favorite auctions because it is everything we've had at auction that may not have sold the first, second, or third time. It's new stuff that we had coming in. It is called our Collector's Dream, and it's full of just general antiques. I hate to use that term, general antiques, but I've got everything from sculptures to fine art to coin-operated machines. There's just so many railroad items. Yeah, that's another thing we have, railroad items, popcorn machines, just a wide range of things that need to go. So we're clearing it out.
What I love about this auction, Susan, is the fact that it's got everything.
It's got everything.
Our auctions, normally when we run an auction, we have kind of a theme to it, whether it's war souvenirs or music or furniture or what have you. They're always kind of themed, coins, toys. Mm-hmm. This has something for everyone. And you have to look through the whole auction, because I did not know, Susan, that there were war souvenirs in this auction. I, of course, collect war souvenirs, always have. So I was surprised to see all the way down at the end of the auction that there were war souvenirs in there. So how do we get people to know that this auction has such a wide variety?
What we did is list out the categories of all the items of the things that are in this auction, because I believe we start off heavy with railroad memorabilia. Then we jump to artwork, and we have furniture and chandeliers. Then we go to coin-operated machines. I even have fossils in this one. Sports memorabilia. Yes, we have military relics. We have camping gear. I have tons of knives. Everything in this auction except for firearms. I have no firearms in this auction. So keep that in mind. But everything else, I bet you'll find something you'll like in it. Again, that's December 11th. It's Thursday. It is online only. However, if you'd like to come out to see something in the auction in person, please give us a call and make an appointment. We'll be happy to give you a private tour of the auction.
And you know, you said December's such a busy month for us, and I think always December is, because we put these auctions online so people can buy that unique Christmas gift. Something they've been looking for. If you're looking for something very unusual to give away as a Christmas gift, follow our auctions in December.
Right. These are not items you can buy on Amazon or at Walmart. So definitely take a look at our auction at DonleyAuctions.com. Now let's keep going. That same week, December 13th, is our firearms and ammunition auction, which I mentioned earlier, but we are still taking consignments for that. If you do have firearms, please give us a call at 815-923-7000 because we would like to have you meet with our firearm expert here to walk you through everything about the consignment process. Don't go away. Next up, our sports department. Ryan and Ryan will be reporting on the massive Rosemont Sports Show that was held this past weekend. We are the Donley Auctions Hour right here on WLS AM 890. During this break, go ahead and visit our website at DonleyAuctions.com. That's DONLEY, auctions with an S.com. We'll see you soon. Welcome back to the Donley Auctions Hour on WLS AM 890. We are the auctioneers of antiques, collectors of cool, and veterans of vintage. Hi, I'm Susan. Thanks for hanging out with us during that break. We are booking 2026 right now for upcoming auctions. Let me give you a quick list of some of our most wanted items that you might have at home in your attic, garage, or in your basement, such as wings and wheels. We're looking for muscle cars, Jeeps, tanks, and motorcycles. Anything for a man cave or a she shed, gas pumps, Petroliana license plates, and neon signs. Of course, any advertising would be fantastic. How about architecture, stained glass, back bars, front and back bars, anything big like that came off a building. We even have doors and stained glass windows coming up in our next auction, by the way. And, of course, militaria, flight jackets, swords, firearms, insignia, anything in that category. We are consigning now, folks. Give us a call at 815-923-7000 or send us photos of your treasures to consign@DonleyAuctions.com. We are also looking for sports memorabilia, coins and currency, and jewelry. We will have those auctions coming up in 2026 as well. Give us a call at 815-923-7000 now. Speaking of militaria, mark your calendars for February 7th. We have the John Banister Collection coming up for auction. Wait till you see this, folks. John and Chris will be here today to talk about the top secret D-Day operational papers, maps, orders, and classified documents. We even filmed the discovery of these documents. Go check it out at DonleyAuctions.com, and you'll see John and Chris actually holding history. You don't want to miss that one.
All right, thank you, Susan. This is Chris.
And I'm John.
We're here today kind of just talking about the D-Day papers that we discovered from the Banister Collection that just came in. And we unpacked those last week. And wow, that was the energy in that room while we unpacked this stuff is just amazing. The Banister Collection is coming up in auction on February 7th. And the top secret documents, the serial number documents outlining troop movements and Normandy Invasion and German movements and possible movements and land obstacles. John, what else did we find?
What's fun with that stuff is these things are what researchers use to find out really truly what happened on an event like D-Day. So you've got these original documents that outlined the paths that these troop movements were going to be. And honestly, these are kinds of things that would either be destroyed after they were utilized or were lost. And so, again, the fact that this stuff still exists is really something neat.
We unpacked this stuff last week, and we actually have a podcast of unpacking it. So if you go to DonleyAuctions.com and go to the podcast, you'll see John and myself as we unpack this 500 pages of documents, maps, and just started to sort them out to figure out what we actually had in hand. And I'm going to kind of geek out here for a second because that's what I'm good at for doing. But, some of the examples that we found is, one of the things was the LCF group staff and what soldiers and officers were actually going to be in these LCFs. Now, if a lot of people don't know what LCFs are, they're landing craft flaks. They actually provided air support or anti-aircraft support for during the invasion, and they took these LCTs, landing craft tanks, and converted them in these landing craft flaks. And they were intended to provide anti-air support during the invasion. So we have these orders, and it literally pages of pages dated May 25th, 1944, with individuals' names, serial numbers, and what position they were going to be on each one of these LCFs. We looked at one of the great things that John and I kind of both geeked out at is we have a complete, and I don't want to say complete, but a pretty well preserved serial number, or is it?
It was serial number 00010, I think.
Yeah, 10. So it's specifically going to a certain person, but it was the Assault Force, Western Naval Task Force, Naval Allied Navy Expeditionary Force. The orders that were going to be ready for the Operation Neptune.
What's interesting is with a lot of these documents, and this is something that we discovered really as we pulled them out of their box, is we didn't realize that there were serial numbered packets of information, so to speak. So there's probably 7 or 8 total different distinct packets of information that were given out to commanders or whatnot. And again, just like I said earlier, these are the kinds of things that after they were done utilizing them, they either tossed them or they had to destroy them, or again, because many of these things were listed as secret, top secret, and then there's a British. There were a couple of British documents which were referred to as most secret. It's just kind of fun to, again, you pick through a pile of paperwork, and oftentimes with militaria, people really focus on collecting helmets, uniforms, swords, medals, guns, equipment, but frankly, it's the paperwork that doesn't get highlighted as much by people.
I agree.
And this all came from one collector, and John Banister really searched far and wide for this kind of stuff.
You mentioned about the top secret. These were top secret or most secret at one point, right. But I don't know if anyone understands how top secret these were. These weren't going to your sergeants or your lieutenants. These were going to select individuals, and they were actually allotted as top secret bigot, and then the operation, which is Operation Neptune. And what bigot is it was a code word for any operation for individuals that were in on the creme de la creme, the top of the top, people that needed to know these specific orders. Like I said, it wasn't going to these lieutenants or the sergeants on the road. It was going to your top commanders, and this is the top of the top you get. Operation Bigot.
It's the larger umbrella.
Yep.
So you have the other operations that fall under the auspices of,
and those can be bigots too. Is
right.
Operation Bigot. So your bigot is that top pyramid of staff that is supposed to know. It could have been Operation Torch, but it could still be a bigot title on there because it's supposed to go to the top.
Right.
So, which is really cool. And this is what these documents have, and it all came from one collection, the Banister Collection. And it's amazing just to be able to see that. The maps that we saw too. We saw some maps.
There was
training maps.
The training maps for basically off the coast of England, training operations for the Normandy Invasion. We also came across some really neat color chart, which was a fold open.
First time I've seen it.
Daytime and nighttime as you come into the shore.
It was the first time I've ever seen it. Like John was saying, it was like this colored chart for daytime, nighttime, but obstacles to look for while you're coming into the actual shore.
Right.
If it was a broken down vessel or a lighthouse or a village, it was different things to watch out for to be able to. It was really neat. I've never seen it.
It's a neat visual aid. It's not something that I really had ever seen before. There were also, I know you were really super excited about, you have the H hour, and then you had H plus the times, and then H minus. So basically, it was a chart for the landings as to what would be happening before the landings, and then once the initial forces made their landings. So
it was a chart that like you described, it was a chart that talked about what was happening at what time of each hour, minus or plus what was coming in. If LCVPs were coming in, LCTs were coming in, they noted the DD tanks coming in.
What should be scheduled or what should be happening at those times. And so
exactly.
If it's H plus 30, this should be happening. And so that chart clarified that.
And it made mention about when the DD tanks were coming in,
right,
and where and how far offshore they were going to be dropped. And it literally stated at 4,000 yards, these DD tanks were going to be dropped off into the water to go into from the shore.
Right.
4,000 yards. I mean, that's a lot. That's
right.
It just amazes me when you think about 4,000 yards. That's 40 football fields that these DD tanks, which
right.
we know that just floundered in the water.
Yeah, and sadly, the tanks that got to shore or that were let go closer to the shore, even though it was riskier, they had a better chance of surviving and did, whereas, the ones that were dropped off further out, yeah, like you said, floundered, and those men, tragically died.
And to kind of follow up on that and kind of more somber is that, these documents list out individuals' names, and you don't know if they actually made it and where they, what their course outcome came. But you have these written in documents, and they live on. As long as these documents remain, they're there, their name on the paper.
And that's where I think the importance of this collection comes in, is because you've got an opportunity to acquire these things. And if you're a serious collector, a historian, amateur or professional, I guess, if you're writing a book, these are the kinds of things that you seek out. And oftentimes you have to go to archives, to museums to get this stuff. It is available, but it's not easy to track down, or you have to know, again, the right places to go. So this is an opportunity to own basically what was up to that point the largest, amphibious assault ever attempted, and to be able to own them and have them in your hands and utilize them to research and to study. So that's that collection in a nutshell, really. We're bringing some of this stuff down to the Middle Tennessee Civil War Show, December 5th, 6th, and 7th. And although it's not Civil War related, it's basically a Civil War show with a whole lot of other militaria. So we're bringing the Banister Collection down there to help to feature it and to show it off. We also have other Civil War era related items that we're bringing down. We were just doing some packing for it.
So you guys are going to that Tennessee show that's
Correct.
coming up.
Correct.
And, if a family heirloom, say someone has a Gettysburg Veterans pocket watch or a Confederate blockade running journal, you want them to come to you.
Of course, right. We're basically setting up our shop down there, and we love to talk to people to see what they have, what they've collected. And at some point, we ask them to see, do you like this? Would you like to auction it off? Would you pass it on to that next generation of collectors? So,
Donley Auctions does everything. We do from cars, motorcycles, to guns, to jukeboxes, to phonographs, everything. And this John Banister collection is coming up on February 7th at the auction, and I think it's going to be probably one of the.
It should be a fun auction.
Yeah.
It definitely is.
I was breathless. I couldn't even know what to say. I mean, you've got top secret dockets. You got firearms that some of the rarest firearms that are going to be out there.
Yeah, he sought this stuff out, and it'll be fun to share it with the catalog to see how the auction goes.
Heck, they got flare guns that I've never even seen about flare guns. It's going to be a really good collection to come out and look at, and and a chance to either build your collection,
right,
build your impression if you're a reenactor, or build your knowledge, and especially like these Operation Neptune documents. And then the Tennessee trip is going to be a really good.
It should be a good time, and it should be a great way to get our name out there.
Ultimately, a lot of this stuff is in the value of the information that's in it and what you want the collection. And I keep on highlighting this Banister collection. This guy spent his life collecting everything here, from documents to weapons to Japanese swords to
World War II aces and Medal of Honor recipient signatures. We have nearly 50 or 60 groupings of Medal of Honor recipients, of aces in the European theater, but also in the Pacific theater, that he would write to. And this was back in the 80s and the 90s when they were all in their 70s and their 80s and 60s. So they were still with it. They were having correspondences. And so he would write, "Dear so-and-so, here are some prints that I'm sending to you. Can you please sign them for me? I'm really impressed with, your feats in the Pacific and whatnot." What's interesting is these men were very accessible. Again, he approached them. He sent them these very nice letters, and they kindly responded, and sometimes they'd write their little notes, and they were thankful. They were remembered for what they did in the war all those decades previous.
Big difference from Vietnam vets to World War II vets of how who got thanked and who didn't get thanked.
Sure.
This is going to be an auction that you don't want to miss, especially if you're a World War II collector or impressionist. That you don't want to miss this. You want to be here. You don't want to be on the internet looking at this. You want to see this stuff. You want to see this stuff up front and close.
In Union, Illinois.
And you want to smell it. It's great because you know how that is.
It doesn't smell.
It does smell.
Does it?
It's got a little history smell to it.
Well, okay, yeah.
Describe what history smell is. I couldn't tell you on that one, but it's just that musty smell.
Yeah.
So come and smell it. Come and see it. Have fun at this auction.
And come and bid on it.
Thanks, John and Chris, for joining us in the studio today. We love chasing history and glad you two were able to talk about it for our February 7th John Banister Collection auction. Mark your calendars, folks. You do not want to miss this one. Bidding is now open for our upcoming auctions for the Razor Blade and General Antiques auction. Don't forget the live Firearm Auction is December 13th. Give us a call at 815-923-7000. 815-923-7000 if you have any questions on how to bid with us or to consign with us. Check out our website at donleyauctions.com. One of the items coming up in my Collector's Dream General Antiques auction on December 11th is lot number 102. It's an Ad Lake railroad lamp. Here's a little description of it. I thought this was very interesting. It's authentic railroad history. In the early days of railroading, temperature changes like hot oil inside versus cold rain outside would cause moisture to condense or sweat on the glass lenses and the metal body. That sweat would mix with soot and smoke, dirtying the lens and making the signal light too dim to see. If an engineer couldn't see the red light, trains crashed. Ad Lake invented a balanced draft ventilation system that kept the air moving. It stopped the sweating, kept the lens clear, and kept the flame from blowing out in the wind. It's called non-sweating because it has a special ventilation system. So check out this item, lot number 102. It's the Ad Lake Railroad Lamp Non-Sweating Marker Lamp. It's called non-sweating because it has a special ventilation system. Back in the day, if condensation formed on the lens, it would dim the signal light and could cause a crash. This lamp was life-saving technology in the 1900s.
I am Ryan 1.
And I am Ryan 2.
This weekend we went to the Chicagoland Sports Spectacular show in Rosemont.
And it truly was spectacular. It kind of was one of the biggest shows Donley Auctions has been to sports-wise. And I think we will definitely be going back for the next two shows in Detroit and the next one in Chicago.
I love working these shows. I learn a lot. I meet a lot of people. And it's a good way to keep your finger on the pulse of the hobby, too. I think we had, if not the best booth at the show, it was definitely in the top 2 or 3. Everything was presented perfectly, perfect layout.
We were put right next to the autographs, signatures, photo ops. So we
row.
always had a crowd of people around us.
The gentleman, both on Friday and Saturday, he was going and getting autographs and directly consigning them to us. So, for instance, on Saturday, there was a massive line for Charlie Sheen. The consigner that came by had 2 baseball cards, both autographed by Charlie Sheen himself. And, that's the thing. These shows are fun. And, he's having fun collecting. And because before that, he got his photo taken with Charlie and Emilio Estevez. So it's truly a fun thing. And, it's fun having them come by and telling us a story. Oh, I remember this particular gentleman came up and said, everyone else there is, all timid. And I just go up there, put my arms around both of them, and, put my 2 fingers out. And God bless him. That's exactly what the photo was. It was like he knew him, like he went to high school with him. Right. It was fantastic. Not only did we get that one, but we also got a Reggie Jackson rookie card autographed.
Yeah, honestly, there was so many people signing. I mean, from Anthony Rizzo. Rodman, from basketball to football to baseball to wrestling. I mean, every aspect was really hit there.
Yeah.
And I mean, no matter what, there were lines always in that section. I mean, which also was nice because it drawn them right to our booth right after they got their autographs.
The one guy that kind of I still have in my mind that would probably brought the most unique and quote-unquote coolest item was the guy with the bicycle. You remember that?
Yeah.
It was a old school, it was a contemporary version of a tank bike, and it's in Chicago Bears coloring and lettering. And God bless him, he had it signed by, I think it had about 30 autographs already, and
right.
McKinnon was there, Singletary was there. There's quite a few Bears players. So I don't know who specifically he was, but me and Ryan are just standing there, and all of a sudden we just see a guy tooling around on a bicycle. Right. I'm like, whoa!
And the worst part was like 15 minutes before that, I witnessed him lifting the whole bike right onto the signing table. He just threw it up on the table, no questions asked. I mean, you had to see the faces of all the people that were like, oh, I guess this is what he wants signed. Not like a card, not a piece of paper, not a picture. He went for a full-on bike. I mean, the things that we were seeing from bobbleheads to football helmets, it didn't matter. Everybody was getting what they wanted signed because sometimes it's for resale. Bring it to us. We're always looking for more consignments.
Absolutely.
Or people are keeping it for their own personal collection. I mean, these collections that we heard about were just unbelievable.
Oh, yeah. And a little bit from everywhere. So I personally I was born in the 80s, so I like stuff from the 80s, and I like vintage. But I do follow sports obviously now. So no matter what aspect of collecting you're in, there is something there that would have grabbed your attention. Right across from us, I was pointing out to Ryan, like, hey, look, you got Mickey Mantle's Real Rookie, which is the 1951 Bowman, and right next to it you had the Topps version of it, which was in 52. They're both considered his rookie. However, the 51 Bowman's the true rookie. However, the Topps is the iconic one that you'd see everywhere. That's why I love going to these shows, because where else do you see both of them side by side? And I could have bought either one of them or both of them if I wanted to.
And you know what? In that moment is kind of where I got the full grasp of card collecting and how crazy and hot these are at the event, because just that one case, I pointed out to Ryan, he said 100% true. I said, that's $100,000 in just that one box.
Yeah.
And I go, this group of people had at least 20 boxes of cards on their case. I mean, there was at least 50 cards in that thing equaling up to over $100,000. I mean, this is a perfect time to give us a call and tell us about your collection. Ryan is waiting to go through collections like this because sports cards is hot right now.
Exactly. A lot of people just don't have any idea. Generally speaking, the person who amasses the collection has an idea, but you may not have your pulse on the hobby, or you may have inherited a collection. Often you just come across that dusty old box underneath your bed. Actually, on one of my advertisements, I have a whole sheet of cards that I have just pulled from shoe boxes. And all of these cards, they have all gone at least $1,000. Several of them have gone $5,000, $6,000, just essentially cardboard sitting in boxes that I was able to pull and send off for grading. And that's the best part of my job, is when I can make someone's day. I love to I always say this, I love to tell you that you have $1,000 coin. I hate to tell you that you do not have $1,000 coin. So either way, it's my job, and I'm always happy to tell you what I see and what I don't see. So certainly, contact us with not only sports, coins, jewelry, designer goods, military, firearms, antiques, whatever you got. Give us a call at 815-923-7000.
And one thing I really want to mention, too, is when you do find these items and you don't know if they need to get graded or go through the process, Ryan works with you personally to get your items sent off, graded. We work with you to find those best items. We don't want you to see, just let that dusty old box sit under your bed any longer. We want to make it fit in your wallet. That's what Randy always says, and we live by that here.
If you give me a box of your cards, I handle them as if they were my own. Whatever you have is exactly, if this was mine, I would get this graded. This one I would not get graded, so on and so forth. So I send off stuff for authentication, grading, all the time, weekly. Generally speaking, we front the cost and we would just take it off the top when we sell. It's something that, as partners, we want to sell the best product, and to have the best product is for me to present it correctly. So whether it's a coin getting slabbed or graded, or a card getting slabbed or graded, or an autograph getting authenticated, whatever it takes to make us all the most money is what I'm going to do. So certainly, we are always looking for collections. Send photos to consign at Donley Auctions with an S.com, and certainly give us a call at 815-923-7000.
Now, that's really the best way to get in contact with us. Send us photos now to consign at DonleyAuctions.com. That's DONLEY, auctions with an S. And honestly, if you want to check out this amazing event that me and Ryan attended this weekend, we have it all over the Unfiltered podcast at DonleyAuctions.com. So go check it out right now. And honestly, if you think there's a show that we need to check out, please let us know, because we're looking for more now. We're signing up for future coin op. We're signing up for military shows. We got a military show we're going to just this weekend. So seriously, if you have any thoughts or you think we should be at this show, give us a call.
Thank you, Ryan and Ryan, for talking about the sports memorabilia show in Rosemont over the weekend, and for reminding everyone of sports memorabilia items we're looking for our upcoming auctions. Just a reminder, bidding is open right now for our 3 exciting December auctions. December 4th, vintage razor displays. December 11th, general antiques. December 13th, guns, accessories, and ammunition. You can see all of the catalogs I just mentioned and the video of the D-Day documents we talked about earlier by visiting us at DonleyAuctions.com. Don't forget, if you have any items you'd like to consign for any of our upcoming auctions in 2026, or if you have any questions about any of the items we talked about today, please give us a call at 815-923-7000. That's 815-923-7000, or drop us an email at consign@DonleyAuctions.com. Hope you have a great holiday weekend, and for now, I'm Susan.
I'm Mike.
I'm Chris.
And I'm John.
I am Ryan 1.
And I'm Ryan 2.
And I'm Randy Donley.
And
we'll
see you at the
auction.
auction.